floor is responsible for opening new communities, launching new products all over the state of Texas, we are really in for a treat, and something I think that you can take this conversation and what you hear and learn and pick up from it into other conversations that you will be having in the future with your clients. In addition to the design and research and development and merchandising that Gonzalo oversees with his team, he also manages separate brands. So Highland Homes has brands starting at entry level all the way up to luxury custom homes. And you and I both know that's a really big gap. And so to be able to fill the space for both of those, again, I'm just super excited to get to know more and to learn from him and to hear about his insights. And so to kind of bring this all full circle, before I bring Gonzalo on as our guest to teach us today and to learn from, you know, why is this important for my agent friends, the Platinum Top 50 community in San Antonio? Well, know right now that Highland Homes has 60 move-in ready homes from Bernie to Bulverde, New Braunfels, San Antonio, and Schertz. So 60 on the ground right now. They are also now selling in Regent Park and Bernie. So we've got some new Bernie communities and final opportunities for both settlement at Green and Johnson Ranch. I had the chance to go to Green 2 weeks ago, and what a lovely community it is. And I know they've just got a handful of move-in ready homes available there too. Also, they've got new phases coming out in lots of their communities. And don't forget, Highland Homes has always, I think they're the pioneer of the 3-4-5 commission, also a 1% relocation bonus. So tons of great advantages for you as the agent, tons of great advantages for your clients, wonderful move-in opportunities ready for the summer. And as you and I both know, they have the sales team to help facilitate this and make this as easy for you as possible. So without further ado, I'm going to ask Gonzalo to join me. And to our audience, I want you to know that we have a Q&A bubble at the bottom. That's a great way to, as he's going through his presentation and you have questions, field those to me. We've allotted plenty of time for Q&A at the back end of this program. So send me your questions and we'll make sure that I get them directed to him at the appropriate time. So Gonzalo, welcome. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for having me today. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to our fabulous realtors in San Antonio. And I am very excited to be part of this program. And hopefully at the end of today, you will leave with a couple of little nuggets of information that may help you present one of our brand new homes in a different light. Also what I'm hopeful is that when you leave today, you will go back to your own home and you will go and think about, maybe it's time for me to buy a brand new Highland home. So that's what I'm hoping to do. So I'm going to talk to you about trends in the market from the design standpoint. I'm going to take you on a brief tour of trends from the exterior of the home into the interior of the home to kind of highlight some things that are going on with design, and also give you a few funny tidbits that may help you remember some of these things. So with that, I'm just going to turn over to my presentation, and then we'll go from there. So trends. Trends are about what's in or what's out. Project Runway, it's a great show on TV. It's a fashion-oriented show, and at the end of the contestants, each show, they basically tell them, are you in or are you out? Well, you certainly want to be in, because if you're out, you get eliminated. So I'm always interested in making sure that Highland Homes is in. So if I had to describe the style of Highland Homes, I would say that we tend to be classic, understated, elegant. We are not a builder that is going to fall trap to trendy design, fads, because typically those things are in and then typically quickly out as soon as they're in. And a purchase of a brand new home is a significant investment in our buyer's budget. And what we want is for them to have a home that has a long shelf life, that they can feel comfortable being in for a very, very long time. So we're interested in the things that have longevity and not things that come in and out within just a few months or even just a couple of years. So that's the three words that I would use to describe our style. Kind of like Chanel. It's a powerhouse design brand, and you always know that they're going to have the classic little black dress in their wardrobe, and that is because they're a pretty expensive brand. Their products are super super high end, and but if you are able to purchase one of those, you know that that design is going to be in for a very, very long time. Maybe you'll have to hem up the dress a little bit or add a different accessory, but that classic black dress is always in style. And that's the way I like to see Highland Homes, is the classic little black dress that never goes out of style. So I'm going to take you back in time a little bit to the 80s because, by the way, my hair looked like the guy in the back. That's what my hair used to look like, and I've kind of lost most of it. But in the 80s, there were some design trends that were very popular. And believe it or not, there are still some home builders that continue to build homes that look exactly like they did back in the 80s. And that is kind of amazing to me. Why would you allow a customer to buy a home that looks like something that was 30 or 40 years old? For instance, on the exterior elevations, those little square boxes that you see on the brick that stick out a little bit and they're kind of going up the corners of the home, they're called coins. And they're so out of date. It's kind of like the big, fluffy shoulder pads on the model on the right. The same thing with the keystones. Those little keystones on top of arch windows were really, really popular back in the 80s, just like big hair was popular in the 80s, yet not in today's homes. So that's something you should be watching out for. And then my favorite are the huge two-story grandiose entries for the front elevations of homes. Those have really gone out, and people are more interested in a quality, very thoughtful design on the exterior that really feels like it has some roots in actual architecture and history. So these are all things that you should try to avoid when you're shopping for a new home. And then my favorite is what I call the Mr. Potato Head elevation. When you look at this home, you think, well, it looks pretty nice. You know, it's got the lighter brick, it's got, you know, nice proportions. But then when you really look closely, you start seeing a mixture of different architectural styles. For instance, in the center, you have that kind of French eyebrow dormer window in the center. And then on the left corner, up on the gable, you have sort of the metal shed roof that's indicative of more of a hill country style or farmhouse style home. And then in the middle, we have sort of that little swoop over the entry, which is very English in character. And then we kind of throw in a little Victorian bracket on the porch just because it's kind of fun. And then up on the right side, we have a shutter that certainly is never intended to close over the window. It's just hanging in there. Obviously way too narrow for the scale of the window. And then the absolute worst thing is having stone on top of brick. That's an absolute no-no in design. When homes were built in the old days, they started with a stone foundation and then they built brick on top of that. So you would never see stone as a splash up on top of brick. That just doesn't happen in architecture. Yet in this home, you see that done a lot, and it's kind of shocking. So here's our Mr. Potato, which is definitely out. Now, what do I mean when you talk about quality design? Well, this is one of our homes in one of our communities, and it represents sort of a fresh take on a Mediterranean villa. Clean lines, beautiful shutters with the angle detailing, corbels up on the overhangs, mainly hip roof forms, but a very pleasant combination of elements that you would typically find in a home somewhere in the Mediterranean. And that's the kind of quality architecture that we're strive to have. or the ever so popular farmhouse with, the big sweeping front porch and the beautiful shed dormers up on the top. All details that are typical of that particular architectural style are present in our homes with a farmhouse style elevation. And then my favorite is the English Manor. This is from our model at Cantera Manor. I call it kind of a formal English style, the high pitched roof. This particular home has a painted brick finish, which is extremely popular in the marketplace right now. We're seeing that really take over brown and red brick. I don't know if you noticed, but all three of the homes that I showed you tend to be on the light side. That is a strong trend on the market on the exteriors of homes to have that nice contrast between a lighter colored brick and then darker windows and darker trim. So all of these things are trending on the exterior, and Highland Homes is obviously at the forefront. Rocking chair front porches. Well, with everybody having to be at home, the front porch has become a very popular element on home design. And you see people hanging out of the porches again, taking pictures at the porches, decorating their porches, interacting with their neighbors in the porches. So I see porches becoming even more important now after the pandemic. And again, in this beautiful home, we have a gorgeous front porch sweeping in the middle of this front elevation. So we're really paying attention to that trend and making sure that we include elevations that feature front porches. Well, out is the formal living room. Believe it or not, there are some builders still hanging on to the idea that people want to have this little box room in the front of the house where, I don't know, you tend to pack people in. It used to be called a parlor. Anyway, lifestyle is completely different today, and you don't section people off into little boxes. So definitely the formal living room is out. And with it is the formal dining room is also out. Again, another little boxy room at the front of the house where you used to gather your relatives and friends for holiday meals. People don't want to do that anymore. They don't want to be separated from the goings of the rest of the home. So both of these rooms sort of boxed out in the front of the home are out. In fact, the majority of the buyer profiles are looking for open concept living. So closed off rooms are out in general. When you look at remodeling shows on TV, what is the first thing that they do? They take a hammer to the walls and they knock all the walls down. Well, we have done that for your buyers, and our homes are bright, open, and inviting. And the kitchen is sort of centerpiece to the home, and it's not segregated somewhere on the back of the house. And the dining room is not segregated somewhere in the front of the house. Everything is together. Everything is living as one large space where people can interact and you can spread out. With people having to live together now 24/7, spouses, kids, even some extended families, you need room to sort of be able to move around the house. So open concept is really going to be an even more important feature going forward. Then high ceilings with our homes becoming more and more energy efficient, the way that we are insulating our homes, the way that our appliances are functioning, our HVAC systems, then we can come back to saying, hey, I want a little more volume in my home. I want the drama. I want the wow effect, like this particular floor plan has. This is a 247 floor plan, and we have beautiful sliding glass doors out to an extended patio. Absolutely stunning. And we can afford to do that because now the energy ratings on our homes are so low that having that volume doesn't impact the overall affordability of the power bill or the gas bill every month. It's something that is achievable. So higher volume ceilings are definitely in and coming in very, very strong. So let me walk you through how we design homes. So I call it, is livability. Our homes have to work harder for us today than they ever did in the past because we're having to multifunction in the home. We have to work out of the home. We have to teach our kids out of the home. We have to entertain out of the home. We have to sleep and live in the home. I mean, there's so many things that are going on in the design that we really have to plan for the traffic, and we are really careful when we lay out rooms to make sure that we're accounting for circulation. So when we have furniture layouts, like in this living room, for instance, that you have a clear path to travel between the kitchen and the dining space and then back to the front of the house. So you're not constantly going in front of the TV or interrupting people in conversations, etc. So we really spend a lot of time when we're working on preliminary design studying how is furniture going to lay out in this space? How are people going to move through the space? How are people really going to utilize the space? So that's extremely important. So I'd say a big one is in for livability. And with everything being so open, it's even more important to have areas of privacy. So all these little entries into, like the master, for instance, or a laundry room, or the entrance from the garage into a secondary bedroom, or these two bedrooms in the front, they're not open directly into an open space, a kind of a public space. They're sort of tucked out of the way, and that's something we really focus on early on in the design to make sure that we are not creating a situation where you're going to lose privacy because the home is so open. So those are things that we really pay attention in making sure that we're kind of increasing the livability of that home design. All right, so we went through the 80s. Now I'm going to take you to the 90s. So again, this group of folks you probably all familiar with that watched the show back in the 90s, and acid wash jeans were the rage, and I think the mom jeans are coming back in style, as a matter of fact. But anyway, so at this time, the TVs were huge. Okay, you had these big, chunky, boxy TVs, and you have to create a little niche on the side of the fireplace to put this monster TV in. So it's a good indicator of an old design when you're looking at new product. When you see the TV niche, okay? If you see one of those in a competitor's model or in a brochure, make sure that you run as quickly as you can away from that floor plan, because what that means is that that home was probably designed in the 90s, which is about 30 years ago, which is kind of a crazy thing that you would still be marketing that home. So no TV niches. TVs are very thin now. You can hang them on the wall just like a picture. Just an amazing thing that technology has brought us. And with that, also the telephones. I mean, these are actually small. In the 90s, the flip phones were just a rage. And I remember when I got my first company car, I had a car phone attached. That was back in the 80s. And that was so cool. And now you have technology in your hand. So with that, you know, when the corner tub in the master bath, do you guys remember how big corner tubs were back in the 90s? Yet there's still builders that build corner tubs in the master bath. They're these huge, clunky things. In this particular horrible picture, this was from a model home, and they have these god-awful columns and the swag drapes. I mean, it's like, I'm not going to be able to sleep after looking at this picture. Anyway, corner tubs are out, and what's in is vanity. You know, when women retreat to the master bath, they want to have this just wonderful space, wonderful place to relax. So what's really in is large master suites that sort of have this spa feel about them. And the freestanding tubs are just a rage. They're pretty, they're comfortable, they're attractive to look at, and they don't look like there's just this chunk of tile in the middle of the room that serves no purpose. We really pay attention about storage in the master bath, so we make sure that we have drawers with the vanities to you can space to put away blow dryers and brushes and makeup stuff, and also we have spaces in our models, in our floor plans for a place to sit down and apply makeup, and good lighting is key. So we make sure that these spaces are well lit to make sure that after you leave, you don't have kind of a line on your makeup or you applied your mascara wrong. I mean, all these things are so important in people's lives today, and everybody is so busy. So why not give them a place that they can truly relax? That's what people are looking for in their master bath. Um, the master bedrooms, they're expansive, they're huge. People are looking for space because they want to get away. They're in a home where they're sharing with their kids, with maybe their in-laws, and they need to have a spot that they can just say, I can disconnect from the world. This is my corner that I can get away, and it is big. They want large furniture. They want a place to sit. They want to have room for storage, clothing, etc. So this particular model illustrates how big our bedrooms are. I mean, oversized bed. There's a bench in front of the bed that allows you to sit down and maybe put your shoes on, and you still have plenty of room to walk in between that and the dresser, and then a beautiful sitting area with just flooded with light. All of these are things that we're constantly paying attention to make sure that we're bringing to our buyers, because this is exactly what they're looking for. This is what they want. So when they walk into this particular master bedroom, I want them to go, I need one of these. And that's what I'm focused on. I'm trying to make sure that I kind of finish the deal when they get to the master suite. So the kitchen. The kitchen certainly has evolved from the days of basically being a bonfire in the middle of a cave to maybe a few years later, a little box in the back of the house where you have metal cabinets that were sort of kind of not very user friendly, to now where the kitchen becomes sort of the hub of the home, where everything is happening in the kitchen. You're cooking, you're teaching, you're working, you're catching up with family, you're doing homework, you're entertaining, and there's so many functions that take place in the kitchen today, and it's sort of the centerpiece of the home. It's where the hub, the heart of the home is today. So we really pay attention to that. And then, of course, storage. You know, it is so critical to be able to store not only food, but other supplies, and then the things that you use in the kitchen every day, thanks to, of course, Amazon, because they deliver it to our front door. We don't even have to go shopping out anymore. We just go on our computer and order whatever we want, and it gets delivered to our front door. And then we have to put it somewhere. So we want to make sure that the kitchens are big enough that they allow for the stuff to go in. So this is what I consider the iconic 2020s kitchen, where it's just gorgeous, number one. But the island is just enormous. There's plenty of room really to put 6 people at this island. You can entertain from it, you can teach from it, you can work from it. And then all the cabinetry around provides fantastic storage. And then we have obviously a beautiful walk-in pantry on the left. And the centerpiece, because it has to be beautiful, is that sort of tall arch with the stainless steel hood sort of floating down over the cooktop. I mean, even if I didn't cook, I would love to just pretend that I cook if I had one of these kitchens. So it is pretty amazing the way design has evolved. And this particular kitchen is obviously completely open to the living area in front of it. And the lighting is exquisite. It's sized perfectly, so they're large kind of chandelier lanterns coming down over the island. Everything about it is just wow. Wow storage, wow design, wow style, wow accessories. All of it is just fantastic. And that's what we want to do when we create one of our brand new floor plans. When people walk in as a model, I want them to stop and go, take their breath away and go, I got to have one of these. That's my goal. And so these outrageously sized kitchens and islands and beautiful detailing, that is what people are looking for today, not the dark little boxy kitchen of yesterday. So everybody is gravitating to the kitchen. So we have the dining area near the kitchen, we have the family area near the kitchen, and the kitchens are huge. And guess what? Everybody wants to be in that space. So when you have a party at your home, what happens to the flow of people through the home? Most everybody ends up at the kitchen. So what's happening is we're running out of room in the kitchen. So what we've done is we've created an additional sitting area, in addition to the family room, in addition to the dining room, in addition to the peninsula bar that comes across where the sink is located. A cozy little spot where you can kind of hang out and maybe gather with friends and family, maybe in front of the fireplace. So we have kind of two versions of this. This is something that you can actually see in our brand new model at Quintero Manor. We have 216 model there, and it's absolutely stunning. But it really illustrates this large open space, and how you can sort of zone it in kind of a dining space and a cozy sitting area, and then the workspace in the kitchen, and then the wonderful family in the back. And then from that, you're overlooking beautiful backyard through oversized windows that go almost floor to ceiling. So this is a kind of a new space that that we see really coming on strong, because again, everybody wants to hang out in the kitchen, and we want to provide room for everybody to be able to be part of that. Here's a picture of what that looks like. And isn't this inviting? I mean, a beautiful fireplace, the dining just beyond. This is not the family room. This is the keeping room. So it just invites you to sit and relax and enjoy the company, enjoy your family. Maybe it's another corner where you can sort of get away from what's going on in the family room. So it's great, great design. Just tons of light coming in from the back and from the side. Beautiful space. You need to go see it in person. It's really, really amazing. So keeping rooms, it's a new trend, and I think it's going to be here for a while. The media rooms. Well, the upstairs media room, I would say that they're an endangered species, because it's a sort of dark, boxy room that you have to go upstairs to be able to sit down and watch TV, especially when you have now movies in the palm of your hand. Why would you spend a ton of money with this room being so inconvenient to access from the rest of the house? So why not take that space and put it downstairs where everything else is? In this particular floor plan, the entertainment space is sort of kind of off the foyer, not too far away from the kitchen family space. So you can sort of literally walk down the hall, and there you are. You have this wonderful space that you can have all your multimedia going on at the same time. So downstairs media, it's in. Exterior, upstairs entertainment rooms are out. So another trend for you. I hope that you're making notes, because I'm just running through this really quick, trying to make sure that I get as much packed into this session as I can. Extended families. Well, I tell you what, they're in, and they're in strong. Whether it's your parents moving in with you or an older child moving back home, there are so many variations of this, and we're trying to make sure that our homes are flexible enough to accommodate the needs of an extended family. So for example, in this particular home, this is again the 216, we can combine bedrooms 2 and 3 into this fabulous, I call it the flexion suite, flexible generational suites. I don't care your age, we have a great spot for you to hang out. So it's enough space for a sitting area, a bedroom, a full-size bath, maybe a little mini kitchenette. All of this is compact and it's accessible, and I haven't had to modify the exterior of the home at all to accommodate it. So if you're working with a buyer that's looking for an extended living area for a relative, this floor plan is absolutely perfect for that. And we're seeing that across the board. So we're incorporating these suites into every one of our floor plans to make sure that that flexibility and that ability to accommodate an extended family is present in every single one of our homes. All right, so outstairs, okay? You're gonna be going like, oh my God, I live in a 2-story home. Well, I'm sorry, stairs are out. What's in is large single-story homes, okay? And I don't care what the price point is. We are selling 2/3 1-story homes versus 2 stories. And that is because everybody wants to be on one level. You don't want to have to kind of go up and down stairs with stuff, laundry and whatnot. So in this particular home, this is the 274 floor plan. If you want to look it up on our website, this home is all on one level. It's basically everything anybody would want on a large 2-story home. At 3,600 square feet, you have 5, count them, 5 living areas. from the study to a lifestyle space that can be between two bedrooms, maybe a small playroom, maybe it's a yoga room, to a formal dining, entertainment space for movies, a game room in the back, a family room in the back. All of these spaces provide a family that's having to quarantine at home lots of room to get away from each other. So everybody's got their corner. You got your workspace. You got a place for the kids. You got a place to entertain with the adults. It's fantastic. And then you have two dining areas. You have sort of a shared dining space in the front of the home that's grand and beautiful. And then you have sort of an informal dining space in the back. And the cabinetry in this home is outrageous. Huge storage. Master suite is out of this world. Tremendous walk-in closet. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Anytime anybody walks into this home, they absolutely love it. And they go, oh my God, how can I not buy this home? So one-story living, it's very, very strong. I would say it's in. And then things that are in is, life is really complicated right now, and it has gotten more complicated. So Highland Home is really focused on making sure that your buyers have an easier life in one of our homes, have a better life in one of our homes, have a healthier life in one of our homes. So we're in the process of releasing brand new options available in every one of our homes. We're also doing some design adjustments to some of our homes to make sure that we're kind of following those three words, easier, better, healthier. For instance, on the easier category, we're making sure that since you're working from home now, that we have options for you to basically soundproof that study or that master suite. So when people are still up and about in the home, that you have total privacy. Or on the better category, taking that beautiful outdoor living area and having the ability to add whether it's fixed screens or operable screens to that outdoor space to make sure that the little bugs don't get in the way. Maybe it's a way to add heating lamps so we can make it through winter months. So really creating an all-around, all-season room on that outdoor living area. And then healthier, the new Ream Halo whole house in-duct air purifier. That is an option now available in all of our homes. And with everybody so conscientious about bacteria and viruses and whatnot, why not include that in your brand new Highland? So these are things, there's just a taste of what's to come. And with that, I think I'm going to wrap up and tell you that a Highland home can be home, sweet home, whether you're a couple, whether you're a retiree, whether you're a young family, whether you're a single. We have a home that is designed for you specifically. We're making sure that every little detail of that checklist that you have, what do I want in my brand new home, is checked off on a brand new Highland home.
Gonzalo, that was wonderful.
Thank you very much.
And so we did have some questions come in through our Q&A. And so I just want to remind our audience also that at the bottom of your screen, if you hover over, there's a Q&A bubble. You can send those to me and I can get those over to Gonzalo while we have his valuable time. Ken Davis, a great agent of ours, is wondering if this presentation, if we can make it available to them afterwards. Is that something that you think that we could do?
Sure, we can either do that or send a summary out to everyone.
Okay, fantastic. I'll get with Megan on that. Thanks so much. So I have a question. How do you balance trends versus classic? Because classic stays the same, but trends come and go. So how do you find the balance between those?
Well, the trick is to take classic and present it fresh, okay? It's sort of like on the exterior, you will used to see dark brown brick and stone, all these heavy materials, and we've sort of kept the style of the home the same, but now it's light and bright. So it's sort of a fresh interpretation of a classic design. So that's sort of where we kind of put our emphasis on. How can we reinvent something that has some continuity to it, but present it in a brand new, fresh, interesting way?
Well, I love when you just said that at first that you described Highland Homes as classic, understated, and elegant. I was shaking my head going, yes, yes, yes. I mean, I think of Jean Ann, I think of the sales team that works at Highland, I think of all the products I've seen, and it hits the mark. And I think for understated, then that allows the buyer to come in and make it their own. because you haven't overdone that design part to it, which I know, not as a designer, but I can appreciate that one of the hardest parts of design is holding back. And you guys certainly do an impeccable job doing that. So one other question too, and we've got another question coming in. So how do you know what to keep an eye on? So in other words, you know, the keeping room that's new for you, the extended families. How do you know what's coming, what's going to be wanted before people start asking for it?
Well, what you do is basically, I live online, okay? I am constantly looking at things that people that perhaps would be looking at buying at home would be looking at. So I spend a lot of time looking at companies that do accessories, that do furniture, that do drapery, that do towels, that do appliances. All of the people that are spending millions and millions of dollars in research buyers to see where they're going, and I'm looking at them trying to pick up where are the elements that start creating a theme that then we can build a trend on, and then we act on that. For example, about 3 years ago, I went on a trip to California, and I was looking at a company that does carpet for our homes, and they were just coming out with some new colors, and they presented to me a board that showed their existing kind of color palette and then this new board, and it was sort of grayish. Everything has sort of a gray cast to it, and I was like, aha, interesting. And guess what? We're bringing that on the outside now. So that was something that we saw early on about 3 years ago, and now it's presenting itself on the exterior of the home. So, you know, things travel, and trends typically travel west to east. So I spend a lot of time out west looking at things because that's kind of the direction of where trends come from. And I'm telling you, with the advent of Pinterest and all of these different online experiences for people, they're your best source of information because they're clicking like, I like this, like this, like this. So all I have to do is sort of do a summary of that and go, yep, I need to pay attention to this. I need to pay attention to that. Or this is on its way out, so maybe I need to stop doing this. So it's a great indicator of sort of where people are thinking and kind of where their head is, especially with a home because it's an expensive purchase. And you really have to think, okay, how did I create this thing that's going to be appealing to them and it's not going to turn them off? So you can never be too far ahead. Always kind of equate trends as surfing. I used to surf when I was a lot younger, back in South America. And you always want to catch the wave just perfectly right, where the energy of the wave is taking you with it. If you're too far in front of the wave, you're going to kind of go over the wave and you're going to get water in your ears and it's going to be a really nasty thing. If you're too far back and there's a wave coming right on top of you, the same thing happens. You're going to roll with the wave and it's going to be nasty. You've got to be just right. So it really is sort of a balancing act to really make sure that you're sitting in the right spot.
I love it. Well, we have actually two questions that have come in, both regarding kind of flooring and exterior walls. So can you kind of touch on what trends you're seeing in the flooring and exterior walls?
Well, carpet is being relegated to mainly bedrooms, but even now I'm seeing a lot of hard surfaces in bedrooms, whether it's hardwood floors or tile or luxury vinyl plank. Luxury vinyl plank is coming in huge because it's so durable. It's great for dogs and kids, and it's also resistant to water. So those are kind of materials are coming in really, really strong, and we're paying attention to that. So I would say hard surfaces are key. I'm starting to see some stain colors coming back into kitchens, for instance. So we're seeing sort of these blonde cabinets coming in really, really strong. So that's reflecting on hardwoods. So the hardwoods are having to catch up to these sort of lighter finishes. So The tiles are getting bigger, 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 bigger. Okay, they look like concrete. They look like marble. They look like stone. So just the availability of product is so amazing that you really can make that home look like anything that you want. So
okay, wonderful. So Tony Hernandez wrote in and asked, how do you tie in energy efficiency to overall home design?
well, the energy efficiency obviously comes from where you place your windows. How do you do the insulation? What is the R value of the walls versus the ceiling? And also the equipment, the highly rated HVAC equipment that we put in our homes, the water heaters, the appliances, everything adds up. And with a third party that sort of analyzes our homes and the energy efficiency is, we have somebody else saying, yes, you are energy efficient. We're not touting it ourselves saying, hey, we're great. Okay, we're following a set of guidelines that are getting us there, and it's aligned for these really wide open spaces with big windows and tall ceilings. Yet, because we're doing all of these things to sort of keep our homes tight, it's allowing sort of those low energy bills. I mean, it's amazing the size of some of the homes that we build with as much volume and as much light as they have, that to heat and cool that home, it's crazy cheap. I mean, it is amazing. So it can really make a difference on how much home you can afford, because the money that you used to put towards energy, now you can put towards maybe getting a little bit larger home. So all that really comes into play when you're thinking about, should I buy a used home or should I buy a brand new home? I'm all from you. So
I love it. So Marissa Ann Cortez asks us, what about paint colors for exterior and interior? What can you tell us about that?
So on the exterior, light is king. Okay, so lighter finishes, lighter colors, a lot of whites, creams, taupes, grays are really, really strong. In contrast with darker windows or white windows are really coming back strong. And then sort of dark overhangs and eaves and fascias. It's kind of like eyeliner, it sort of frames the house and it just makes a really strong, crisp contrast. On the interior, again, light and bright. We don't see a lot of dark finishes except contrast. So we may have a room that's mainly white, but we will contrast it with an absolute dark black wall, but it just pops, and the furniture is white, and it just pops off the wall. So it's a big play in contrast between light and dark, but not fussy, not overly done, very simple, very streamlined, very transitional in character. That's sort of what I'm saying.
Well, and that's true if you walk into your model homes. It's always so light and refreshing, but then you use the interior design for those pops of colors. So that's where you'll see the bright fuchsias or the bright oranges and greens, which then adds that excitement. But the actual home itself, the walls, the floors, is very understated, as you said earlier. So Brenda Carpenter asked, what about mudrooms or pet rooms? With access to outdoor, so say while you're not home, your pets can go. And what can you tell us kind of about mudrooms too, as a mom with 3 kids? God, I wish I had a mudroom. So what do you think of those?
So I want you to ask me in about a week.
Okay.
And I will tell you all about it. I have some stuff up my sleeve that I'm getting ready to launch. And it kind of sounds like that, but I can't tell you all about it because our sales counselors don't even know about it yet. So
awesome.
Kind of close, but it's coming, and it's coming really big.
That's awesome. Well, it sounds like we'll just have to have you back then to tell us, because I can tell you mudrooms are a big one. Let me ask, in light of COVID, and again, not trying to follow trends, but yet this is probably more than a trend. How are you kind of assessing that when it comes to, say, home offices?
Well, I will tell you that you don't have enough workspace at home anymore. Okay, we need to think about more than one workspace. Maybe it's a study, maybe it's a secondary bedroom that becomes that. Maybe it's another place in the home that we create an environment that's suitable for work. And not only that, but just like what we're doing right now, interacting over video and through the internet, that is going to be driving business 100% going forward. So to have the ability to have the right lighting, to have the ability to have the right connectivity, all of those things play into that work from home, which before was sort of a luxury that some people had that could work from home. Now it's like, who doesn't work from home? Okay, everybody works from home. So you have to have the privacy. We just talked about insulating workspaces now that we're offering as an option. So this is sort of evolving, and we're looking at really wholesale how we're designing homes and how all of these things are going to impact. I mean, you're going to be teaching your kids from home. Okay?
Right.
Accommodate that function in my home while I have to work, while I have to carry on, our life. I mean, there's so many things. Living on a home today is far more complicated than ever before, and it will continue to be that way. So we have to make that home live big. It's got to live strong. It's got to have enough places for people to get away from each other if they need to. I mean, all of these things are playing into how we're designing homes. And the good news is we had a lot of those stuff checked off already on our design, and now we're just sort of kind of discussing it even more so. But,
well, and even if it's not, I'm going to work from home 5 days a week. I mean, as an employer who has seen that my teams can manage a balance of office and work from home, it's a place where they can work from home, not that they exclusively have to work from home. And I don't see any well, I can't speak for all, but I think most employers are realizing that they can offer their employees some sort of flexibility there that becomes a benefit to employment.
It's huge. I mean, what a great life. I mean, that we can have now because the technology allows us to really continue to work as usual. I tell you, my entire team is working from home. I have 30 professionals on all levels, and we're communicating daily. We're talking about product. We're doing reviews. I mean, all of this is happening remote, and it's fantastic.
And you are now looking at your architecture and design and saying, okay, now how do we build this into the livable space that our buyers are wanting, which is so fascinating. I love how you have shown me how you pull from fashion, even from, the keystones on the house, kind of tying that to the, over accentuated hair. Ken Davis wrote in, which I think is funny. He says, for a long time it was oil rubbed bronze. Now we're seeing more nickel and chrome. When is brass coming back? Which I think is hilarious.
So it is back, believe it or not.
It is.
Starting to show a little bit of gold in some of our models. It's brushed, it's not shiny. Okay, so it's just a touch, but what's really big, black faucets, black hardware, black lighting fixtures. So ORV has sort of reinvented itself, and now it's solid black. Okay.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, and fixtures are something that too you can change through time, right? And that's where, again, building an understated product that then you can come and add those accessories if you want as trends kind of circle. Do you find that home building design trends follow the same kind of pattern as fashion trends?
Yeah, everything is connected. Everything is connected. Just how we, how you dress more casually now, and now you really dress more casually than you ever did before. Well, homes have to be that way too. They have to be very livable, very comfortable, very inviting, not stuffy and stiff and all of that. So that's sort of 1990s. So it comes through.
I love it. Well, you have given me such great insights. I mean, there's always been something that's different about a Highland Homes. I know that you are a huge part behind the scenes as to what makes Highland such a great product, such a livable product. And so just what a pleasure it was for me to get to kind of hear from your perspective and how you go about, studying trends and market research and building those into the design. So I just want to thank you so much for your time this morning, and thank you for sharing with us your insights.
No, it was a pleasure, and I will tell you that I wish I could take all the credit, but it takes a village, and we have a great team at Highland Homes, and it's everybody, getting together to really come up with this great product that we have.
You sure do. Well, you build it and then they sell it. So that sounds like a great team effort there. So just a reminder to our audience, Highland currently has 60 move-in ready homes from Bernie, Bulverde, New Braunfels, San Antonio, and Schertz. They are now selling in Regent Park, which is in Bernie. And they've got final opportunities, settlements at Green, as well as Johnson Ranch. So just remember that they are ready to serve you and your clients right now with inventory on the ground. So I want to thank you, Gonzalo. I want to thank our partners at Highland Home in San Antonio. And I want to thank all of the amazing agents that tuned in and signed up to listen. Whitney Robinson, Tony Hernandez, both writing in to say, great webinar. They love working with the Highland team. So thank you so much. And we look forward to hopefully having you back and learning more from you at another time.
Great. Enjoyed it very much.